what if? What if things are not just like we have always been taught? Hi, I'm Kathy Ann. Let's be Berean. In part 4, I discussed the possibility that the 5 wise virgins may also be the same as the woman of Revelation 12 and those who are living in Judea as described in Matthew 24:16. They are all 3 symbolic representations of the bride. Each received protection during the time of the Great Tribulation, Jacob's trouble. But what about everyone else? What can they expect during the Great Tribulation? What about the 5 foolish virgins? What about those who either do not live in Judea, or if they do live there, they fail to flee at the proper time? What about the others in Revelation 12? Those in verse 17 who either keep the commandments of God or have the testimony of Jesus Christ. What happens to them at the time of the abomination of desolation? Are there answers to these questions in the Bible? Yes, there are. Let's read another place in Daniel that talks about the polluting of the temple, the stopping of the daily sacrifices, and the placing of the image of the beast, called the abomination of desolation. Reading Daniel 11:31 and the first part of 32. And arms shall come on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that doth make desolate. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. The last part of Daniel 11:32b and 33 tells us what happens to those who know God but are not safely hidden away. What happens to them? What happens to the 5 foolish virgins? Let's read those verses. But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. And they that understand among the people shall instruct many. Yet they shall fall by the sword, and by flame, by captivity, and by spoil many days. Some people will understand what's going on. They will teach others about what is going on, but they will not have the same protection enjoyed by the bride, the 5 wise virgins, those living in Judea who know when to flee. We establish from Matthew 24:15 and 16 that when those living in Judea see the abomination of desolation standing in the holy place, they need to flee immediately. Do not come down from the housetop to take anything out of your house. Do not return back to get clothes if you are out in the field. Just run. This time frame is also recorded in Luke 17. I'll begin reading in verse 31. In that day, he which shall be upon the housetop, and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. And he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back. Remember Lot's wife. Whosoever seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. I tell you, in that night there shall be 2 men in one bed. One shall be taken, and the other left. 2 women shall be grinding together. One shall be taken, and the other left. 2 men shall be in the field, one shall be taken, and the other left. Let's look at these same verses in Matthew 24:40 through 42. Then shall be 2 in the field, the one shall be taken, and the other left. 2 women shall be grinding at the mill, one shall be taken, and the other left. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. These are the classic verses used to title the Left Behind series by Tim LaHaye and Jerry Jenkins. They are among those who believe in a pre-trib rapture. Yet Yeshua, King James Version calls him Jesus, Yeshua links those on the housetops and out into the field who must flee at the time of the abomination of desolation to the occurrence of one taken and the other left behind. At first glance, this can seem confusing to the point of irreconciliation. Are these verses trying to say that the abomination of desolation and the rapture occur at the same time? From Matthew 24:15 through 22, we clearly can know that these verses are talking about the time of the abomination of desolation, mid-trib. The problem comes in on down in Matthew 24, verses 40 through 42, are assumed to be talking about the rapture, the pre-trib rapture according to many. Let's see what we can know for sure about those taken and those who are left. Number 1, the destination of those taken is assumed, not stated. Number 2, who is doing the taking is assumed, not stated. Number 3, why one person is taken and the other person left is assumed, not stated. Number 4, being taken as being a good thing to happen to a person is assumed, not stated. Number 5, being left as being a bad thing to happen to a person is assumed, not stated. Can we know if being taken or being left is the good thing? Yes. Yes, we can. Maybe. I will continue to repeat the word maybe because being a Berean is an individual activity. I cannot be Berean for you, and you cannot be Berean for me. You must study for yourself those things I'm talking about. I think we can tell which is the good thing, which you want to be taken or left. My answer may surprise you. I'm pretty sure I want to be left. Now, before you jump to the conclusion that I have some sort of a death wish, let's look at another place where some people were left behind. Look with me a couple verses back up there in Matthew 24, verses 38 through 39. For as in the days of Noah that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Took them all away. These verses are not saying took away Noah and his family to a safe place. These verses are talking about taking away the people who knew not. These verses are talking about taking away in judgment those people who, until the flood came, knew not. What was it they knew not? I suggest they knew not the Lord and were not following his instructions for living. Only Noah and his family were left behind after the flood. I'm thinking I do not want to be taken. I want to be left. Like Noah and his family who were in a safe place on the ark, I want to flee to a safe place as well. I do not want to be taken in judgment. I know, this is so different from what mainstream Christianity teaches. But mainstream Christianity also teaches it is okay to disregard the fourth commandment. They go along with the directives of the Catholic Church, who affirm that God does not authorize changing the Sabbath from the seventh day of the week to the first day. The Catholics proclaim they did it by their superiority. Mainstream Christianity disregards God's instructions in Jeremiah 10 to not cut down a tree, bring it in your home, fasten it with nails and a hammer so it does not move, and hang gold and silver balls on it. But every Christmas, mainstream Christianity repeats the ways of the pagan, calling evil good. God sends Peter a vision to teach him not to call unclean those who are not Jews. Mainstream Christianity uses that vision to proclaim that it is okay to eat anything. God records in Leviticus 11 what is food and what is not food for us. But I doubt that I'm speaking to mainstream Christianity. Mainstream Christianity is content with the milk of the Word. They want to be spoon-fed from the pulpit in the Sunday School Quarterly. I trust you are Berean. God always has for himself a remnant who want to know truth and walk in truth. That is the purpose of EMAT Library, and I am glad you are here to study with me. You may not agree with everything I say or even remotely see the things my way, but you are here graciously listening to me. Thank you. Now, I want to hear from you. Let's study together because what if? What if things are not just like we've always been taught? I'm Kathy Ann. Be blessed.